Okay, guys, this is Debbie from Kentucky Life with Debbie, and I decided this morning that I'm going to make a couple of little videos and post them separately so that you won't get bored and that you will maybe watch them. But let me tell you this little story. I have a dear friend who is 86 years old, and she's not in good health, and she lives not far from me, but I just don't visit. Maybe we should visit. I know used to, if people were sick, we would visit, but I don't visit, and I'm ashamed of that. But that's just the way it is. I feel like I have things to do, or I'm in my own little world. But my dear friend has a lady that comes and checks on her of a morning and stays with her and does some things. And my friend's 86. The little lady that comes to see her is maybe in her 60s, a lot younger than me. And she fell one day last week, or it might have been the first of this week, and broke her foot. So now my little 86-year-old friend is going to be without her help. So I'm going to go up there in a little while this morning, and I thought I would fix her a thing or two. So, here comes Suzy Homemaker in, so I wanted to share with you guys what I've made, and it's the oddest conglomeration you've ever seen in your life. But you know me, this is just the way it is. First of all, on the menu are some boiled eggs. I thought she could easily get those out of the refrigerator. And believe it or not, these are still part of those eggs I've had forever, which I think they're still good. I took 4 and boiled them this morning for about 15 minutes. And I have learned that to get the shells off pretty easy, if you put them in cold water after you take them off the burner, and then throw some ice in there, that will really help getting the shells off. But, and I've seen this several times of people saying, when you have them in the shell, just still in the pan, drain that hot water off of them, and just shake the daylights out of them. And I thought this morning, I'm just going to try that. So I just drained that hot water off, shook them real good with the lid on the pan so they didn't flop all over the house. And those shells, I put run them under some cold water. They come off just like you wouldn't believe. So if you've not tried that, and if you like boiled eggs, there you go. The next little jar is some strawberries I picked the other day with some sugar on them that I've had in the refrigerator, and I love them dearly, but I'm going to take them to her and share with them. Now this little conglomeration, look at this. When I was a kid, my mom used to make rice and put sugar and butter in it, and we would eat it for breakfast with some milk. And if it was real hot, we'd pour just a little milk in it. And it's just delicious. If you can taste. Remember, I have no taste. All right. I fixed a double dose of rice, which, wow, that makes a bunch of rice, let me tell you. It was 4 cups of water. I boiled that and then put 2 cups of rice in there, and it makes looks like a gallon. This is only part of it. And then I put sugar and butter, and I thought, she may not like that. So then I had some fresh pineapple in the refrigerator, and I ground that up in my little grinder, and I stirred that in and tasted it. Well, see, I can't really taste to see how it tastes, but I threw a little more sugar in there, and then I thought I'll just put some cherries. So I emptied a whole little jar of cherries, and I've stirred that up in there. Hey, if she don't eat it, she can throw it in the garbage, right? So I think it's pretty good, and I kept me part of it, so I'll eat that later. Or not today, but just eat it. Okay, the next little goodie, it doesn't look as good as it did, but it's been sitting out for just a little while. This is twisted bacon, and I don't know if you've ever made it or not, but some of you guys talk about your cookbooks, all these cookbooks you've got, and I used to have a zillion cookbooks. And during my little decluttering a few years ago, I decided to get rid of them. So I only have like 2 or 3 cookbooks left, like one my mom had and maybe 1 or 2. The rest of them, I gave them away. I just took them to a center where they give stuff away. But why do you need a cookbook when you can get on Pinterest? But anyway, now I know this bacon doesn't look too yummy, but it is so good. And if you'll notice, it's not cooked, just crispy done. Now, you know, the longer you cook it, the crispier it gets. All right, here's what you do. 350 degrees in the oven. I laid a piece of Reynolds wrap down on a cookie sheet. And I cut the bacon slices in half and twisted them. Now, that's the trick. You twist them. As you can see, some of them are not twisty. Try not to let them touch each other. And put them in the oven at first for 15 minutes. And they're cooking pretty good by then. And then I did 15 more minutes, so this is 30 minutes. Now you can do longer, but you got to watch them. And then take them out and drain them. And they're chewy. And see, my husband, he has false teeth, but guess what? He don't wear them. So he could gnaw on these if he wanted to, but he probably won't. But they're really, really good. So I'm going to take my friend some of those. I think she'll like that. And then you can drain that bacon grease off and use it to cook with if anyone wants to cook. And I love to have bacon grease to cook with. So far we've got some boiled eggs, some strawberries with sugar. I like sugar. Rice with sugar, butter, pineapple, and cherries. Now I've got a really good recipe for a rice salad that all that needs in it is some cream cheese, powdered sugar, and Cool Whip. You talk about yummy. And you can put pecans in it if you want to. But us old people, sometimes they don't like to chew on the nuts. If anybody's interested in that recipe, I'll give it to them later. All right, there's the bacon. Look up twisted bacon in the oven on Pinterest and see what you can find. Now, last but probably the yummiest, well, you can tell I like sweets, is this Kentucky butter cake. I also got this off of Pinterest. It's a cake mix, eggs, buttermilk, and vanilla. And I think some oil. Yeah, a little bit of oil. Now, I'm telling you what. Now, I've got the timer set. I still can't take this out of the pan for about 5 more minutes. But when I got it out of the oven, I poked some holes in the top with just a fork and poured some of this glaze over it. And then, as you can see back here, I've got some more glaze that whenever I get it out of the pan, I'm going to pour that over the top of it. And this is so moist and delicious. And I promise you, if you're a sweet eater like me, you will love it. Now, that little pan back there that looks so innocent has got butter, sugar, vanilla, and just a little water. Now, I was watching Granny Pat the other day, and she said, you know, when the recipe calls for 11 different things, she just puts it aside because who's got 11 different ingredients? But this recipe is so simple to make, or I wouldn't be making it, you know that. But I've got my little KitchenAid mixer over here. I threw those 4 eggs and the oil, and then I put some buttermilk in there and that cake mix. I think that was it. Look it up on Pinterest, Kentucky butter cake. Then while that's cooking at 350 for about 35 minutes, doesn't take that long, then you whip up this little glaze. I'm telling you, as they say, this will make you smack your granny. So I'm gonna take those 5 things which absolutely have no connection to each other whatsoever to my little friend after a while. And I think she'll really enjoy them, don't you? So, if you need any cooking tips, just let me know. I watch these people that do all these fancy recipes, and it's not going to happen around here, I'll tell you that. But, just hang on, because I may have more tips later. So this one is kind of an odd video, and I'm not going to read a funny story, but I'm getting ready to read you one, so hang on. See ya. Bye.